My daughter ordered me to pick up her son. I am not your babysitter. I said, she left him there anyway. 3 days later, she would call me nonstop, crying, begging, panicking. But on the day it all began, none of us knew how far things were about to shift. The story you are about to hear is a fictional work created by the writing team of the channel Her Secrets. It is inspired by real-life situations to convey lessons about family, emotions, and human values. All characters and events are illustrative in nature. My name is Corliss Avery. I am 67. I was rinsing a bowl in the kitchen when my phone vibrated across the counter. Emily's name lit up the screen. She rarely called unless something was wrong, and even then it was usually something she wanted me to fix. I answered anyway, the way mothers do even when they should know better. "Mom, I need you to get Jacob," she said immediately. No greeting, no breath. I am stuck at work. It is urgent. Her voice was tight, but behind it, I heard something off, a burst of laughter, a clink of glasses, music thumping low like a heartbeat. Not an office, not urgency, a bar. "Emily," I said carefully, "where are you?" She hesitated long enough to confirm the truth. "It does not matter. Can you get him or not?" For years I had stepped in without question. I had driven across Portland in the rain, left dinners half made, canceled appointments, all to keep her life from falling apart. She was used to me folding every time she pushed. I dried my hands slowly. "I cannot keep doing this. I am not your babysitter." Silence. Not shock, calculation. As if she were deciding whether I was worth negotiating with. Then her tone hardened. "Fine. Then he will wait." The line went dead. I stared at the phone in my hand. The echo of her words settling like dust in an empty room. Somewhere across the city, my grandson was about to finish his school day, expecting anyone to show up for him. I had no idea yet how long he would wait, or how cold the afternoon would become, or how this one decision would unravel everything we had been pretending was normal. But Emily had made her choice, and I had finally made mine. Emily wasn't at work. I knew it the moment the call ended, but the confirmation came minutes later when my phone buzzed again, not from her, but from a mutual acquaintance who posted a story. I tapped it open without thinking, and there she was. Emily stood in a dim Pearl District bar, leaning against a high table, laughing too loudly at something a friend said. A half-finished cocktail glowed pink in her hand. Music thumped under the chatter. Her co-workers from the boutique marketing firm surrounded her, all polished smiles and curated outfits. Emily was performing, not living. Her husband, Mason, was 12 hours ahead in Seoul on a work assignment that kept him gone more often than home. She told me they were managing, but lately her eyes had carried a tired shine, like she was trying to hold up the world with two shaky hands. Instead of asking for help, she shaped herself into a version she thought people wanted to see. Your phone's blowing up," one of her friends said, glancing at the screen lighting up beside Emily's drink. She slid it away without checking. "It's fine. It can wait." "Mom again," another friend teased. Emily forced a laugh. "If she wants to help, great. If not, Jacob can stay with the after-school kids for a bit." Someone raised a brow. "In this weather," Emily lifted her drink and took a long swallow. "I just need one night to breathe. One night where I don't look like a mess." What I did not know yet was that while she laughed at that table, the school was already calling her over and over. I watched the scene play out from my screen, my chest tightening. She wasn't stuck. She wasn't trapped at work. She was trying to outrun the life she'd built, even if it meant leaving her son to wait for someone who might never come. I had just set water to boil for tea when the phone rang again. This time it was Jacob's school. The tone in the receptionist's voice pulled every muscle in my back tight. "Ms. Avery." Jacob still hasn't been picked up. We've tried calling his mother. My hand tightened around the counter. I'll come now. Please keep him somewhere supervised and warm. A soft sigh. I wish we could. We're short-staffed today, and the office has to close at 4. The kids who remain wait under the covered area with the heaters. He's supervised, but it's cold. I grabbed my keys. I'm on my way. By the time I reached the school, the drizzle had turned to a thin, needling mist that clung to everything. The covered area buzzed with the low hum of a portable heater. Jacob sat on the edge of a bench, backpack in his lap, knees pulled close. His small shoulders trembled under his thin jacket. When he saw me, he stood slowly, as if unsure he was allowed to move. Grandma, I thought Mom was coming. I knelt in front of him and pulled him in. His hands were freezing. I'm here, sweetheart. Let's get you warm. As we walked toward my car, the assistant principal stepped out of the doorway, her expression tired but gentle. Miss Avery, thanks for coming. I wish I'd known sooner. I said. She hesitated. I shouldn't say much. But this isn't the first time timing has been an issue. We've documented the delays. Today was longer because Emily didn't answer any of our calls. The words landed heavier than the rain. I understand. Jacob climbed into the back seat, buckling himself in with slow, stiff fingers. I wrapped my coat around him while the car warmed. He pressed his cheek into the fabric, eyes half closed. Grandma, can we go home? Yes, I said. We're going home. The heater clicked on, filling the space with a soft, warm hum. Jacob let out a small breath, relief more than comfort. Behind the wheel, I glanced once at the school doors, then at the silent phone beside me. Jacob fell asleep on my couch before I could finish warming the soup. His small hand still clutched the edge of my coat. I didn't wake him. I just sat beside him for a long moment, listening to the soft, uneven breaths that told me how cold he'd been. When I finally stood, I moved quietly, not to disturb him, and opened my laptop. This wasn't anger. It wasn't revenge. It was the first moment in years I stopped making excuses for Emily. I found the Oregon DHS website, clicked through the tabs, and selected a non-emergency neglect report. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for a breath. Then I typed what happened. No exaggeration, no emotion, just the facts, the 2-hour delay, the unanswered calls, the weather, the prior warnings from the school. When I hit submit, a small window popped up. A caseworker will contact you if needed. I closed the laptop slowly. Next, I emailed the assistant principal, thanking her for staying late and requesting copies of any documented late pickups. She responded within minutes. Of course, Ms. Avery, I'll send everything tomorrow morning. I opened my banking app last. For years, I'd been transferring Emily a set amount on the first of every month food, rent gaps, childcare. Whatever she claimed was urgent. I hovered over the recurring payment labeled Emily Support. I pressed cancel. A quiet click confirmed it. My phone buzzed once. A text from Emily. Did you get Jacob? I didn't answer. She could check the school app. She could come to the house. Or she could sit with the choice she'd made. I set the phone face down on the table. The room still except for Jacob's breathing in the next room. I kept my phone on the table. Screen down, volume off. Not to punish Emily, just to stop myself from stepping back into a role I didn't trust myself to carry anymore. On the first morning, she texted once. Everything okay? I didn't answer. By evening, a second message came. Shorter, sharper. Why aren't you responding? The next day, the calls began. I let them ring while I folded Jacob's blanket and packed his lunch for school. When the house quieted again, my voicemail icon blinked. I pressed play only after Jacob left with the neighbor. Miss Avery, this is Child Protective Services. We received a report involving Emily and Jacob. We need to schedule a conversation. A calm voice, practiced, unwavering. An hour later, the school called. Ms. Avery, we require a mandatory meeting with Emily regarding yesterday's late pickup. Our security footage shows Jacob waiting without a parent or guardian for a prolonged period. I nodded, even though they couldn't see me. I understand. In the afternoon, one more call played on speaker as I chopped vegetables. A woman's voice, someone I'd heard at Emily's gatherings. Emily, listen, this is too much for me. I didn't know Jacob was left outside. I think we should take a break from going out. By the third day, Emily's tone had shifted completely. Her messages were frantic, the words tumbling over each other. Mom, CPS called me. They said there's a report. Why would they contact the school? Please answer me. Mom, are you doing this? I turned the phone face down again and set the knife aside, steadying my hands. By late afternoon, the calls stopped being interruptions and turned into a steady pulse vibrating against the table. I finally picked up on the 12th attempt. More out of concern for Jacob than readiness to talk to Emily, her breath hit the line first fast. Uneven. Mom, thank God. Why haven't you answered? CPS called me. They said I have to do a parent consultation. They want documents from the school. They said my case is marked urgent. What does that mean? I kept my voice calm. It means they need to talk to you about what she shot back, about one late pickup, Mom. Just tell me. Please, I'm losing my mind. You left Jacob outside for almost 2 hours. I said, the school recorded it. That's not fair. She snapped. I didn't mean for it to be that long. I thought she cut herself off, breath catching. They said this could affect custody if anything else happens. Custody. Mom, I know. I said. There was a pause. Then a trembling whisper. Mason can't find out. He'll think I'm failing. He already thinks I'm overwhelmed. If he hears the word neglect, I didn't use that word. I said, CPS did. She exhaled shakily. Then her voice sharpened. Mom, did you do this? Did you call them? I reported what I saw. Silence poured through the line. Not the quiet of shock, something deeper. A crack forming under years of denial. You should have talked to me first, she said. But even she didn't sound convinced. I could have fixed it. You didn't pick up the phone, I replied. Neither for the school nor for your son. I made one mistake. It wasn't one. Her breath hitched again. Mom, I'm scared. I closed my eyes, letting the truth sit between us. Good. Fear means you understand what could have happened. She didn't argue. She didn't hang up. She just breathed. Small and uneven, like someone finally realizing the edge they'd stepped over. Mom, she whispered, tell me what to do. I didn't answer yet. I let the weight of her words settle across the distance between us. Heavy and trembling, Emily showed up at my house the next morning before I finished my coffee. She didn't knock, just opened the door halfway and stood there. Eyes swollen, hands twisting the sleeve of her sweater. Mom, can we talk? Her voice wavered, stripped of the sharpness she usually carried. I nodded and sat at the table. She took the seat across from me, staring at her fingers. I'm in debt, she said quietly. More than Mason knows. The hours at the firm got cut, and I've been trying to cover everything on my own. I didn't want him to worry while he's overseas. I didn't speak. She kept going. I've been so lonely, she whispered. He's gone for weeks. I'm juggling work, Jacob, bills, and every time I call you, you sound tired. I didn't want to be another burden. You're my daughter, I said. Not a burden. She shook her head. I didn't believe that. Not anymore. So I pretended. I kept going out with coworkers because if I stayed home, everyone would see how close I am to falling apart. She swallowed hard. And I thought, you'd step in like always. Emily, I said softly. That's exactly the problem. Her voice cracked. I know. I depended on you to fix everything. I didn't think about what leaving Jacob alone meant. I just wanted one night where no one saw the mess. I leaned back, letting her words land. You should have told me the truth. I was ashamed, she said. I didn't want you to think I'm a bad mother. You're not bad, I said. But you made a dangerous choice. She covered her face with both hands. I know, and I'm scared. Mom, I'm so scared. I reached across the table and rested my hand near hers, not touching, not closing the gap, just offering space. Emily lowered her hands slowly. Her eyes were red but clearer. I want to fix this, she said. I believed she meant it, even if she didn't yet know how. We sat in the living room because the kitchen table suddenly felt too small for everything that needed to be said. Emily folded her hands in her lap like a child waiting for permission to speak. I'd seen her look nervous before, but not like this. I know I messed up, she said quietly, but it feels like you're acting like this is the worst thing I've ever done. I met her eyes. Emily, it's not just this. It's years of assuming I'd step in. Years of you calling only when something went wrong. Years of me dropping everything so you didn't have to face the consequences. Her gaze flickered. I thought you wanted to help me. I wanted to help, I said. I didn't want to be treated like the only safety net you'd rely on. There's a difference. She looked away, jaw tight. I resented you sometimes, she admitted, because you always seemed calm. Put together, like you were judging me without saying a word. I wasn't judging you, I said. I was surviving. The calm you saw came from years of being forced to stay steady. Her throat bobbed. I felt like you were waiting for me to fail. I wasn't. But I can't pretend my silence didn't make you feel alone. She wiped her cheek. I didn't know how to be a mother without feeling like I was already disappointing you. That's not something I wanted for either of us, I said. The room went still, holding the weight of what we'd never said. Then soft footsteps approached the doorway. Jacob stood there, hair rumpled, eyes still heavy from his nap. Mom, he whispered. Emily turned fast. Hey, buddy, you should be resting. He didn't move. Are you going to forget me again? Emily's face broke. It wasn't anger or defensiveness. It was something raw, deeper. She reached out. But he stayed in the doorway, waiting. I won't, she said, voice shaking. I promise, Jacob, I won't. He took one step closer, just one. Emily covered her mouth with both hands and sobbed quietly into them. I reached him first, resting a hand on his shoulder. He leaned against me, small and warm and trusting. Emily looked up at the two of us. Her son pressed against my side, my hand steady on his back, and I saw the truth sink in, not as guilt, but recognition. Emily sat across from me again, her eyes still red but steadier than the day before. She kept Jacob close, one hand resting lightly on his back, as if reminding herself he was the center of everything we were about to discuss. I talked to the CPS caseworker. She said, they want me to attend 3 parent consultations. I already scheduled the first one. I nodded. Good. And the school wants a written plan for pickups. She continued. I made one. I'll send you a copy, but I want you to know I'm not asking you to fill the gaps. I'll help when I can, I said, but not last minute. And not because you're afraid to ask someone else. She took that in, shoulders lowering a fraction. I understand. I don't want to put Jacob in that position again. Jacob looked between us. Trying to read the air, Emily pulled him into her arms. Buddy, she said, voice soft. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have left you waiting like that. That won't happen again. He leaned into her, forgiving faster than any adult ever could. Okay, Mom. Emily closed her eyes, relief breaking across her face. I gave her a moment before speaking. We're building something new, Emily. Not what we had. Something better. She nodded again, this time with quiet resolve. Jacob slipped his hand into mine. Emily watched, not threatened, just grateful. Over the next few weeks, the change didn't come in one sweeping moment. It came in small, steady proofs. Emily arrived early for every pickup. She texted updates without prompting. She asked for help only when she truly needed it. Not because she wanted to avoid responsibility. One afternoon, Mason returned from Seoul. He stopped by my house after dropping his bags at home. "Corliss," he said, "thank you for stepping in. I didn't know things had gotten so hard for her." His voice held no anger, only exhaustion and relief. "We're working on it. Together." I believed him. Later that same day, Jacob sat at my coffee table with his crayons spread everywhere. "I made something," he said, sliding a drawing toward me. 3 figures holding hands, uneven lines but full of intention. He tapped each one carefully. "You, Mom, and me. This is us now." My throat tightened. "It's beautiful, sweetheart." Emily stood behind him, watching the moment with quiet steadiness. "We're trying, Mom," she said. "I know I can't undo everything, but I want to build something that doesn't break so easily." I nodded. "You're doing the work. That's what matters." Sometimes love isn't proven by how much we sacrifice, but by the boundaries we finally learn to hold. And sometimes the people we love grow the most when we stop rescuing them and let them stand up on their own. Family doesn't heal through perfection, it heals through effort, accountability, and the courage to try again. Jacob climbed into my lap, the drawing still in his hands. "Can we hang it on your fridge?" "Of course," I said. "It belongs right there." Before he ran off, I added softly, "If you're here, take a moment to like, comment where you're listening from, or subscribe for more stories.